one of the hardest things you will ever do is heal alone. And when I say heal alone, what I mean is healing without using other people to fill the void that you feel. To heal without dating people when you know you're not ready. To heal without going out every weekend, to meet someone, to meet other people, to have a good time, to distract yourself, to fill up your schedule with a million things so that you cannot sit in your grief and think about it. Healing on your own will be one of the hardest things you will ever do. It will force you to sit in your grief and feel it. And it is an awful feeling. It's an awful, awful feeling. But it will heal you inside and out. It will heal you. And it's not fair to use other people to fill the space that they can't fill. They can't. It's not fair to do that. It is your work. It is up to you.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
In the next video, we're going to hear their so-called reasons for the divorce. We already know how the story goes. She's the victim, he's the villain. What's interesting is that we all saw how happy she was the day she signed those papers. If getting divorced made you so happy, then where's all this drama coming from now? Let's watch the next video and draw our own conclusions.
So I didn't realize that video was gonna blow up. It's not even like I make money making videos and it doesn't even make me money. I didn't meet the criteria to make me money. So I don't want people being like, oh, she just made that to make money. No, I just made it to document what is happening in my life. And I didn't expect it to like have so many people comment and message me. Comment right here that it's one of the hardest gut-wrenching things to go through. And you never want to feel that pain again. And it broke you as a person. Everybody has different, reactions and experiences. And there's a lot of congratulations in the video. And you're going to do great things. And you're going to be better. And I promise it gets better. And I believe all of that. And I appreciate all of that. But I never wanted this. Ever. And I would have done anything to stop it. And I don't want to be petty, because there's another person involved. But at the end of the day, it takes two people to want to each other and they want to fix it. And that wasn't the case here. I thought this person was truly the love of my life. Like a blessing from God. And I literally have his name on my wrist. I don't know how people can just discard relationships and get on dating apps and just move on with their life.
I'm going to say something most people don't want to admit. No happy man destroys a relationship that's working. When a man walks away, it's not on a whim. It's because he's been feeling trapped, ignored, and unsatisfied for a long time. A lot of women say they love their man, but love isn't shown through words, it's shown through actions. And that's where they fall short. I've seen this pattern repeat itself over and over. They think that just having the man at home, feeding him, and sleeping with him every now and then means they've done their part. Many don't sit down and talk with their man. They never compliment him. And when he tries to express his issues, they unload all their complaints and frustrations on him instead. They fill him with so much negativity that eventually, that man just wants to leave. He wants to run away from it all. But let's keep going.
I'm gonna need so much time to heal. Been 2 months. And I'm just not okay. I'm not okay. Some days I'm okay, but most days I'm just trying to get through. I have a counselor, a therapist. She's precious. And I am involved with church. I read my Bible every day. I'm reading 5 books that are helping. And I'm in a divorce care group. I can't imagine ever being with another human. I can't imagine ever trusting someone again. And I'm just ready to feel better. I'm really ready to feel better. So if you are hurting, if if you are going through a divorce, you can totally follow me. You can message me, you can talk to me. I definitely know what you're going through. And I just appreciate everybody who is just so loving and kind.
Stop it. Get some help.
What doesn't add up? The day she signed the papers, she was smiling. She looked happy and free. Now, 2 months later, she's broken, can't imagine trusting anyone, needs therapy, a support group, daily Bible readings. Where's all this drama coming from if divorce was supposed to be the solution? She's building the narrative little by little. First, crying videos to gain mass sympathy. Then, positioning herself as the perfect wife who gave everything and was betrayed. The goal is to play the victim, collect emotional support, and possibly financial or social benefits, all without telling the full truth. No man suddenly chooses to destroy a happy relationship. When a man reaches the point of divorce, it's usually after years of emotional rejection, lack of respect, constant negativity, or feeling disconnected. Men pay a high price. They lose their home, savings, time with their kids, their mental health. It takes years to recover. If she doesn't want to share the real reason, it's probably because it doesn't work in her favor. Something's missing here.
Women.
Affairs, in my experience, and this is a lot of experience, I feel like I have a PhD in infidelity. They really are a symptom. They're not an underlying cause. Like, people don't get divorced because they had an affair. People have affairs because there's something wrong in the marriage. Like, happy people don't cheat. I know that's an unpopular opinion. I know I'll get blazed in the comments for it. But ultimately, like, yeah, look, I know you want to believe that everything was fine, and then this person came along and ruined your relationship. And also, by the way, it comforts us to think that, like, we have some control. We could just keep our spouse away from other people and other potential mates, that somehow they won't get wooed away. Like, it really is about disconnection between people. And that creates a vulnerable state that, you know, nature abhors a vacuum, and people's hearts abhor a vacuum too.
As they say in politics, there's a clear phrase: power doesn't tolerate a vacuum. The same goes for relationships. When you stop connecting with your partner, when everything turns into stress, and when your priorities shift, you're going to lose them. Men see it all the time. When a woman cheats, her go-to excuse is, "You neglected me. You stopped paying attention to me. I let someone else in." And a lot of the time, she's validated, understood, told, "You deserve to feel desired." But when it's the man who ends up in the same situation, after years of being taken for granted, disrespected, dealing with constant negativity, and having zero intimacy, he suddenly becomes the ultimate villain, a cheater, selfish, immature, total double standard. No one destroys a happy relationship. If things reach the point of infidelity or divorce, it's because the emptiness was already there long before. The one who leaves, man or woman, didn't betray out of nowhere. They just stopped tolerating the void no one wanted to fill.
That I was going to tell him that I wanted a divorce. I texted my therapist, our marriage counselor, and I was like, I need to tell him that I want a divorce, but I want to do it in a session so that there's like a mediator present. Got us in like ASAP, like 2 days later. And I walked in knowing that I was going to ask for a divorce. We sit down in our session. It's like really tense, really awkward. My ex was sitting there like, so why do we have an emergency session? Therapist was like, Jamie, do you want to start? And I just started crying, and I was like, I want a divorce. You know, it's hard for me to like say the words. I'm done. I want a divorce. He sat there quiet. I'm sitting next to him crying. He didn't move. He didn't look at me. He didn't react at all. He just was stone cold. And eventually our therapist was like, would you like to respond? He responded right away. And he's like, fine, let's just go ahead and finalize the details. And that was that. I looked at my therapist and I was just like kind of stunned. I knew that I was ready to leave, but I couldn't believe that that was his reaction. There was no empathy. There was no compassion. There was no like wanting to fight for us. I didn't think that there would be, but you know, you just always hope that like one last try. We went home that night. We didn't speak. He slept on the couch. I woke up and went to work the next day, came home. He was playing PlayStation that night. I sat next to him. We hadn't talked in 24 hours. I said, can we talk about what happened yesterday? And he was just playing, just looking straight ahead. And he was like, what's to talk about? In my mind, I'm thinking, this is our last ditch effort to like steer this ship around, you know? And I was like, so what are we going to do? And he just kept playing. And he was like, I already got an apartment. I already took my name off of the lease. He had done things within that 24 hours. He had opened up the filing folder of his single man life and went ahead and got all this shit done.
No, God!
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
In short, that man didn't let himself be manipulated. Listen closely to what she says. I sent a message to my therapist. In other words, you had already been thinking about this for a while. You brought your husband into a setting where there was another person involved to stage an intervention. You couldn't even sit down in private to talk with your husband. You brought him into your territory, a space you controlled. What did you expect him to do? Beg? Humiliate himself? So that you and the therapist could gang up on him and tell him everything that's wrong with him and how it's all his fault? This man was smart. He stayed quiet, probably kept his composure, and said, "All right, let's move forward." Because he saw you had it all planned out. That's why he started taking action within 24 hours. That's why he probably got himself a lawyer, too. Because once the word divorce is spoken, there's no time to sit and think. You have to act. And that's exactly what this man did. The plan just backfired on you.
So I'm divorced and remarried, and I got married really quick the second time. I'm talking like engaged and married within a few months. And someone recently asked me, how did I know my husband was the right person for me, especially after all I had been through? And I found what I wrote, and I just feel like you need to save this and write it down in your manifesting journal. Okay, I wrote, this man pursued me so intentionally, it melted away any insecurities because he showed me I was more important than relationship games. He adored me so much that I never had room to question if I was good enough. He respected me so well that I never questioned my worth with him. He was so wonderful to me that it made me want to be my very best self for him. And then I finish it off with, what made me fall in love with him as an adult so quickly without too much questioning anything was the way he made me feel about myself with his actions. Note that I didn't say how he made me feel in general. Any fuckboy can make you feel giddy and excited. It's how his actions made me feel about myself as an individual. Anyways, I wrote this about 2 years ago when we had been married 4 years, and now we've been married 6.5 years, and I still feel the exact same way about him. So go back and rewatch my video, write down everything that I wrote about my husband, and put it in your journal, because every girl deserves a guy like that. And they're out there, I promise. You just gotta dig for them. Dig and dig and dig, but they're there. I'm Monica. I share my mistakes in love and life, so you don't have to make them. Okay, love you, bye.
Oh, hell no!
Another one selling the post-divorce fairy tale. The new husband shows up out of nowhere, right after the papers are signed, engagement and wedding within months. She writes poetry about how he made her feel worthy, adored her, respected her, melted her insecurities. Oh, she knew exactly what she was doing, no doubt. So where was the grieving? Where was the pain over losing your marriage? Either you hated that man, or you had already been talking to the other guy. Something interesting another guy pointed out in the comments. The new man had more money. She straight up confirmed it. That said it all. He had been courting her for a while, full-on love bombing. And once she was free, he moved fast because the path was already cleared. If not, he was hidden in the background. And let's be honest, women are usually very careful about covering their tracks in situations like this.
One thing that I'm not letting a man have is his way with me. There are two things that you need in this life as a woman, and that is high standards and strong boundaries. If you do not have them, you need to figure out how to get them immediately, like your life depends on it, because it absolutely does. 95% of these men that you meet will be absolute losers. It is your responsibility as a woman to not give your body to them. Your coochie is very absorbent. Do not put it past your own body to absorb whatever the fuck this man that you're dealing with has going on. And for the women that want to argue that they have needs, then have those needs and shut the fuck up. This is not for you guys. This is for the women that want to elevate and understand that it is a lot longer process to get to where you want to go when you're laying down with a loser that does not deserve you. Now back to the women that know what they have to offer and know what they deserve. Do not let a man try to negotiate your standards. Men are always going to try to negotiate. It's your responsibility to not let a man talk you out of your panties because you are lonely. You are going to be lonely, right? And when I say that, I mean that you are not going to come across a bunch of great men that you're going to have all this great connection with. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have to be okay with your solitude. Your best bet is to get some money, get a hobby, hang out with friends and family. Say no to crumbs and bums, okay? I love you guys. Bye!
If he says he's not a walking ATM, you're not a walking sex doll. Some men will say that women are just taking advantage of them. Well, some women do take advantage of men. Some men do take advantage of women. But that doesn't mean that wanting provision is taking advantage. Otherwise, wanting a beautiful woman and wanting to be intimate with her would also be taking advantage. Some people are simply not a match, and that's okay. And a side note for all the men, if you do not have the resources, just just stop dating. Now, if you want to know how to spot a real provider man and how to truly make him invest in you, download my ebook, The Queen Treatment, link in my bio.
When a man tells you that he thinks you're wifey material, what he's telling you is that he sees in you a good servant.
Right. Sadly, though, there are some women out there that genuinely believe this, and that would be because they have encountered that small minority of men that unfortunately do want their wives to be nothing more than servants. But even more unfortunately, those women that actually believe this seem to lack the critical thinking skills to understand that not all men are the same.
When he says he sees wifey material, you need to hear that he sees you're easy to exploit.
What's really sad is there seems to be an ever-increasing number of women that will try to find any way to try to make themselves out to be a victim.
The man who sees you as wifey material is planning for you to have a nice long life of cleaning his dishes, washing his socks, and getting on your knees whenever he wants you to.
Some really do try, don't they?
As I recently heard a man say online, you may not be feeling so well, but your mouth still works. That's how they see us. That's what wifey material is. Wifey material is an insult.
Take a lesson. That is how prejudice starts. Someone takes one thing that apparently a rather uneducated individual said and applies it to an entire population. That's exactly how that happens.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Calling wife material an insult says more about the mental state of the woman saying it than about the men being criticized. Modern feminism has achieved something dangerous, convincing some women that mutual care is slavery and that commitment is oppression. And in that process, the greatest contempt isn't directed at men, but at married women who live well and are valued. The most contradictory part is this. They talk about high standards, about providers, about not dating losers, yet none of them mention what they offer in return. They don't talk about caring, supporting, or building anything. It's all about demanding. If a woman isn't willing to serve, to stand by a man, to sacrifice at some level, why does she expect a man to do everything for her? What is she really bringing to the table? Feminism is a poison that damages the mind. Let's continue.
I was dating a man earlier this year, and what he taught me was that men who are not willing to risk their ego and put themselves out there to ask you out are insecure men, and that is going to show up in a lot of negative toxic behaviors later in your relationship. And he had told me that I was the first woman that he ever had to pursue because he was very good looking. Whether that was true or not is neither here nor there. But he doesn't like to pursue other women, and I didn't realize that was a red flag at the time, but I saw it come out because I'm very secure in who I am, my flaws, my strengths, all of it. Like, it's me, and I'm very comfortable. And I noticed that he would try to poke at different potential insecurities I might have that other women would have, and I wouldn't be defensive. I'd just be like, yeah, no, I like this is just me, you know, and I love me, and you know, we're all human. And because I wouldn't react to him trying to provoke my insecurities, it made him feel very insecure. So then he would try to make little digs and comments about me to bring my self-esteem down. And so it just, initially he was very sweet and complimentary because he wanted me to like him. But as we got more comfortable with each other over time, his true colors showed, where it was clear he was not comfortable being with a secure, confident woman. It made him feel insecure. So long story short, TLDR, if a man is not willing to risk his ego to pursue you and potentially get rejected, he's actually very insecure, and you're not going to have a good relationship long term.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
The question of the day, of the month, of the year, where do we find a good man? You will kiss a lot of frogs. You will kiss a lot of frogs. So how do we know that somebody's a frog? The video that I posted that caused this very important question to be asked is me saying, girls, we need to stop dating men that don't like us. Basically saying, like, stop dating a man who acts like he absolutely fucking hates you. That is like first and foremost. It's not working, right? We are asking men to like us. We are asking men to care about our hobbies. We're asking men to give a shit about our day. We are wondering why he's not setting up a date. These are all the things that show and prove that somebody's not into you. Obviously, it's easier said than done to like find somebody who checks all the boxes. But a very important box I think a lot of us are ignoring is the natural box of a person just showing up because they want to and doing all the things that you want them to do without you having to ask. I think it's insane how often women are dating men that are just like not showing up for them and they are almost having to like beg them to. And then they're wondering like, why am I not happy? Why is this not moving to the next phase? Babe, he's been acting like he doesn't like you this entire time. Like the signs have been there. The signs have been, and we're ignoring them because he checks a lot of other boxes. The main box he's not checking is that he doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't want to show up for you. He doesn't want to talk about you to his friends. He doesn't want to introduce you to his family. These are all the things that you're just like, wait, he's kind of caring because I made this birthday plan and he came. Is he doing the thing because you're asking him to do the thing? Or is he doing the thing? Your person is going to make it very clear that they want to be with you. He's going to be like, yeah, so we're only a couple weeks in, we're only a couple months in, but we need to be exclusive, right? You need to be my girlfriend because I can't imagine myself not making you my partner. The gray area of dating is really how you know that this is not it. So honestly, I don't really feel like it matters if you find somebody in your DMs or at the library. It matters that the person sees you. Oh, but he really likes me, but I don't know because he's kind of hung up on his ex and he's kind of like, that's not your person. Oh, he's really kind, but the only thing is like, he doesn't really care that much about the stuff that I care about. That's not your person. Your person is going to be easy. It's going to feel effortless. That's just going to be it. When someone asks me, where do you find them, right? Where do you find a good man? I think in talking to God about exactly what you want. These are the qualities that I want in a man. Speaking it out loud, saying no to the things that you realize are not for you, speaking up for yourself and saying, you're not actually showing up for me. You're not treating me right. You're acting like you care, but I feel really questioned about all these other things. It's your story. If you're not happy with the situationship that you're in and you want it to become a relationship, but he doesn't, that's not your person. That's not your person because your person is not going to do that. Just going to show up for you the right way. That's why there are happy couples in the world. That's why I am happy because my boyfriend is just doing the right thing. He loves me and he's showing it. And I feel like we just need to stop making excuses for subpar mid-ass situations and really just lock into what we deserve and what we want. Write it down. Do not settle until you believe that that person is right there in front of you. You will know it. You will feel it. It'll be right in your heart. And you'll be like, oh my goodness, this is that feeling that Mariah was talking about. This is that feeling. You'll know it.
Stop entertaining men who play games with you, who are not direct, who are not clear in their leadership, who don't know what they want from their life. If they don't know what they want from their life, let alone if they know what they want from you. So don't go after men who are purposeless. Don't go after men who are not building their life and creating their life and is driven by purpose and leadership. Don't go after men who are not clear about what they want in their life, in their vision, in what they want from their life. Like, don't go after that because that is kryptonite for your feminine energy. Go with men who have clarity, conviction, leadership, and the confidence.
She's right about the frog. These days, men have to date a lot of frogs, and the worst kind are the ones from the streets. Because no matter how many times you kiss that frog, it's not turning into a princess. The truth is, there aren't many women who are wife material. What all these women have in common isn't bad luck. It's the inability to focus on one person. They never build anything. They just evaluate, compare, and complain. At the first sign of discomfort, they leave. You don't build any kind of bond that way. A woman who's dissatisfied with everything never ends up in a stable relationship. Because no man wants to stay where everything he does is never enough. That's why it's not that there are no men. It's that every time one shows up, they push him away themselves.
Women.
I just wanted to come on here and remind you guys that you do not need to give every man a chance. I think that there is some weird pressure that women face, especially from friends, peers, family, where they're like, oh my God, he's nice, he's great, just give him a chance, go on a date with him. I've experienced this, my friends have experienced this. Just because a guy is nice and everyone wants you to go on a date with him and give him a chance does not mean that you need to. Think about it this way. Do we ever hear people say that to guys? No. No one is like, oh my God, but she's really nice. You should give her a chance. If he doesn't like her, he doesn't think she's pretty, he's gonna not respond to the DM. You know what I'm saying? So as women, you do not need to respond to the DM. You do not need to say yes to a date. You do not need to go out or be with a guy that you don't initially want to be with. You don't need to be convinced. You don't need to feel guilty for that. That's your own decision. Oh my God, there's a train. I think overall the idea that women are responsible for the male loneliness epidemic and they're picky and they're mean to men, do not fall for that bullshit, okay? The male loneliness epidemic exists because men don't know how to be good friends to each other. They don't know how to form real bonds and have empathy. It's not because women are too picky and are being mean to them. At the end of the day, remember that it's your choice to be with who you want. Your husband is the only family member that you get to choose in your life. So don't feel pressure to choose someone who you don't know that you fully want.
Women want the bears, and we want you to subscribe and help us hit 1,000 likes on this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion in the comments. It's important to us. All right then, let's get back to the video.
On today's episode of Decentering Men, the extraordinary man is the average woman. And you've probably seen this online already, but what this is referring to is the things we attribute to a great man. He has a good job. He has a stylish house and wardrobe, takes care of himself. He's healthy, basic hygiene. He has good communication skills. He's empathetic. All of these things are things that women do every single day and go completely unnoticed because we don't give credit to women the same way that we give it to men. We look at these traits in men, we're like, oh my God, he's the best. You're never gonna guess who I met. He's amazing, blah, blah, blah. And I think actually what that is they are mirroring back to us what we already do. We are impressed by ourselves, but we are bred to never give ourselves any credit for anything that we do. The second we see that in somebody else, man or woman, we're like, yes, you're crushing it. I love to see it. You are incredible. Keep going. We love to support them, but we just struggle to support ourselves. And it's a different conversation. But something that I have been going through lately is it's very hard for me to feel impressed by a man. And I'm aware that makes me sound like a man hater. And unfortunately for me, I want to love men. I have been around few great men and I adore them. I am just like, I'm so glad you're here on planet Earth right now with me. I'm so glad I get to share air with you. Unfortunately, I'm just not seeing a lot of men like that. And I'll also say a lot of those great men are married. And for me, my first thought is, would you be great without the wife? And genuinely, I don't know the answer to that question. I don't think anybody knows the answer to that question. But I think that a lot of character development that we see in these great men is because of the women in their life, whether that's their mother, sister, best friend, coworker, wife, whoever. I think that there's a woman plays a role in that. That's my opinion, right? But when it comes to feeling impressed by men, I really want to, but I just don't feel impressed. It's not impressive to get a girl shitty roses that were $4.99 at Walgreens because you fucked up. It's not impressive. What is impressive when it comes to getting somebody flowers is going to the farmer's market, talking to the farmer or whoever is there about where they got the flowers. You can explain that to your person. Also curating a beautiful color scheme, bringing them home, taking them out of the paper, out of the plastic, pulling the leaves off the stems, getting them into the vase and presenting them like, I got you these flowers, and doing that weekly. That's impressive. Truly, that's impressive. It shows care. It shows thoughtfulness. It shows commitment. I'm impressed by that. Do you know why I'm impressed by that? I do that every single week, no matter what, for myself. So again, it's this mirroring opportunity of like, well, I'm not impressed by you because you don't do the things that I do for myself. It brings back the question, what do you bring to the table? And I think that in dating right now, that's what both sides are really struggling with. What do we bring to the table?
You want to know the real reason why men pull away, right, when things start getting serious? It's not what you think.
Yeah.
And honestly, most guys won't admit this to you.
Yeah.
Look, everybody thinks guys are afraid of commitment. That's surface level. The truth goes way deeper than that. Let me break down the 3 real reasons men ghost when feelings get real. Reason number 1, and this is big, fear of losing himself. When things get serious, he starts thinking he's got to give up his freedom, his boys, his hobbies, everything that makes him him. Right. See, bro, in his head, he's picturing this cage. He thinks serious means he can't be who he was before. Right. So instead of talking about it, he just runs. Classic self-sabotage, man. Reason number 2, he's scared he's not enough for you. Yeah, I said it. Men have insecurities too. He's thinking, what if I can't give her what she needs long-term? So what does he do? He pulls back before you can reject him first. It's a defense mechanism. He'd rather hurt you now than risk getting destroyed later. Messed up, but it's real. And reason number 3, the one nobody talks about, past trauma. Maybe his ex destroyed him. Maybe his parents had a toxic relationship. That stuff leaves scars, bro. Deep ones. Yeah. Here's the thing though. If he really wants you, he'll work through it. Communication is everything. Yeah. But you can't fix a man who won't help himself. Remember that. Know your worth.
Brother, women aren't being underappreciated. These days they get praised just for breathing. The truth is, any man who puts himself first, a man who's disciplined, takes care of himself, improves his finances, develops social skills, and has a strong identity, doesn't need external validation. His confidence makes him naturally attractive. But precisely for that reason, that kind of man doesn't go for just any woman. Just look at the pattern with all these women and tell me, would they make a man better? A woman is meant to be a man's suitable helper. Have you seen any of these women lift a man up? Do you think a high-value man would be better off with any of them? That's why instead of attacking the men who did the work, they should be looking at the women those men choose and asking themselves what those women are doing differently. That's why there are more and more leftover women every day.
All right, this is going to piss some of you off, but maybe y'all need to be a little bit angrier, actually. I need you to stop seeing men as these good, misunderstood, naive, constantly trying creatures. I hear so many women talk about, like, if only he just understood. He just doesn't get it, but if I can get him to get it, then everything will be better. But let me ask you this. Is a man who can't learn actually trying? Has he been fired from jobs before for being unable to meet the demands of the job? Because if he actually cannot understand what he's done wrong or how he hurts other people or his impact on other human beings, that would make him incredibly dumb. And if he really is that good and kind-hearted and willing to learn, but somehow completely unable to do so after you've sat him down for long conversation after long conversation after long conversation, my question to you becomes, why do you want to be with a man like that? Because being with a partner like that would be a handicap for your entire life. Because if we can all be honest to ourselves, that's actually all just complete bullshit. And the reason I talk about radical responsibility so often is that men know this. They're perfectly aware. Every moment in your life is a choice. At every moment, you are presented with a choice. Do I stay in bed? Do I get out of bed? Do I snap at this person who just said hi to me, or do I say hi back? Do I punch the person in the face who just gave me the coffee, or do I give him money? We go through life thinking that these things are not choices, but they are absolutely choices. And the thing about that is that means that every time you explain something to him and he goes, oh yeah, that does make sense. It's just difficult for me. He's making a choice to do whatever he can to continue treating you that way, instead of improving himself in any way to be a better partner for you. It's so important to understand that men can and should be held accountable for their actions, because once you understand that, you can see his actions clearly and make your decisions based off of that. But as long as you keep seeing him as some, like, misunderstood good guy who just keeps trying so hard and can't get it right, you're gonna remain stuck.
When I hear women talk like this, the same question always comes up. Who was this woman actually with? Because she's not speaking from relationship experience. She's speaking from bottled up frustration and imagined scenarios. Reality isn't complicated. When a man wants a woman, it shows. He takes care of her, he pursues her, and he stays. When he doesn't, there's no need to overanalyze it. He's just not interested. It's not poor communication. It's not hidden trauma. It's not that he didn't get it. He's just not into you. Simple as that. And here's the clearest sign: despising the idea of being a wife. A woman who sees commitment as an insult is out of touch with reality. That doesn't come from deep negative experiences. It comes from never having built anything real. The result is always the same: non-existent relationships, shallow connections, and a hateful narrative to justify it all. Feminism brainwashed her. That's why the wall is waiting for her, because the wall doesn't forgive.
Let's talk about the bare minimum. A lot of people beg for love, affection, attention, loyalty, and so much more. Things that should come as a factory setting in every person. Things you should not beg for. They're common sense. They should come with every person in every relationship, whether it's a friendship, a love relationship, or even family. And the problem is the people you beg these things from require a lot from you. Not only you're begging, you have to give them a lot in return. They are like fake plants who require water. It doesn't make sense. And they make you feel like their loyalty or the bare minimum they give you is something you should be thankful and lucky to have been receiving from them. Now, the funny part is that it's like walking into a car dealership and the car dealer tells you, hey, you bought a car. Guess what? It has brakes with it. Of course it has brakes with it. God damn it. It should come with brakes. So if you're in a relationship and you're begging for these things, whether it's a friendship, family, or a love interest, or even a situationship, part of self-love is understanding your worth, and for you to understand that you need to stop auditioning for people's love. Love is free. Love is unconditional. These things should be given, not asked for. And if you have to teach someone common sense, you're in the wrong relationship. Walk away.
Stay unimpressed by the bare minimum. You don't get extra credit for level entry dating things like calling on the phone, like planning a date, like getting you flowers on a random Tuesday. I always tell people you don't get excited when you buy a car and it comes with 4 tires and 4 wheels. That's the basic starter pack of any car. So you need to figure out what your basic starter pack is for the person that is going to be entering into your life as a partner. And anything above and beyond that, the platinum package, then they can get extra credit. Otherwise, it's the basic entry starting point.
I think airplanes should change their policy to let women board first, ladies first, and then have men board after.
It's funny how so many women say that they want equality. That is, until the very moment that it doesn't benefit them somehow. And then their true colors come out, and it's really the case that they want more rights and more privileges than men.
And there's no group 1, group 2, group 6, or whatever. It's just ladies first, ladies get on board, they get settled, and then the men. I think that would be super classy.
That's not what I would call super classy. That is actually what I would call super sexist, and actually is an excellent example of what I'm talking about. Because individuals that are for this type of idea are rather implying that women are just simply not able to get settled in as quickly as men, or that women deserve special privileges simply for being women. So why do some women say that they want equality and then act like they want to be treated as better than men? You really can't have it both ways, although some certainly do try.
Remember, fellas, that equality, for many women, only means privilege. When true equality is applied, they get upset. Notice how all these women only talk about receiving, and even what they do get from a man comes with strings attached to whatever they want. That's what they call the minimum. But I ask you this, what's the minimum for men? Because no one gives us money, no one buys us a house, no one pays for our dates, no one takes us on trips, and no one's buying us flowers. I'm not saying men need those things, but do you see how unbalanced it all is? Look at everything they demand from you, while the only thing they bring to the table is their presence, and many times, not even that. That's why the wall keeps collecting victims.
And I'm just like, do I say something? Like, I hate to ask for stuff. I don't like to ask for stuff. But like, you gotta do more to keep me around. And I hate to be that girl, but like, you literally need to do the most. You need to do the most. Because as soon as you start doing less or start presenting me with the bare minimum, I'm gonna leave. Because I can't be, if you not meeting me where I treat myself, I already treat myself the best. So if you ain't up here with me, what am I keeping you around for? And you think I'm gonna keep you and you doing the bare minimum? Like, men think, oh, well, I saw you, I called you, I texted you. That ain't enough. That's not enough.
Why does he act like he's going above and beyond when he's doing the bare minimum? So here's the truth. Reason number 1 is social conditioning. Most men were believed to raise that once they get a job and pay the bills and provide, they've completed their entire role in the relationship. You don't deserve to ask him for anything more. From start to finish, beginning to end. They're never taught emotional labor or emotional repair, communication or mental load or partnership. These are all new ideas to them. When they do the smallest emotional thing, like a date or a text or a question or a hug, they feel like, oh, wow, look at me. I went way above and beyond what's required, because to them, it's extra. Reason number 2 is entitlement. Decades of conditioning have told men, if I provide financially, she handles the rest. That's what I deserve. And the rest is everything. The emotional labor, the planning, the parenting, the regulating, the social connections, the holidays, the remembering, the fixing, the smoothing over, the keeping it all together. Women are taught to carry the entire relationship, and men are taught to believe that providing financially entitles them to that. So he genuinely believes he's doing so much. And you genuinely feel like he's doing the bare minimum. You're not crazy. You're not expecting too much. You're living in the gap between what men were taught that love requires and what love actually requires.
Stop it. Get some help.
We need to talk about the single most attractive trait a man can possess. And no, I am not talking about his money or his looks. It is the ability to do things without being asked. It is the emotional intelligence to anticipate her needs before she even opens her mouth. Because let's be real, if she has to ask you to do it, she doesn't want it anymore. Yeah. At that point, it's just a chore, not a gesture. When you take initiative, you are telling her, I am paying attention to you, and I value your peace more than I value my own laziness. But there is one thing even more powerful than initiative. It is having tunnel vision, saving your eyes exclusively for the woman in front of you. It means walking into a room full of beautiful women and genuinely not even noticing them because your focus is entirely locked on her. In a world full of wandering eyes and short attention spans, a man who is physically incapable of seeing the competition is a god. This level of loyalty is what every single girl secretly dreams of. Yeah. It is not just faithfulness, it is absolute unwavering devotion. It makes her feel like she is the only woman on earth. Yeah. And that feeling, that is worth more than any designer bag you could ever buy. So learn to read her mind and learn to discipline your eyes. Yeah. Because being handsome is common, but being attentive, that is legendary.
You know why that saying exists about women. Don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. Because they always talk about wanting a nice, sweet guy who puts them on a pedestal, the man of their dreams. The guy who's always attentive, gives them gifts, fixes their problems, only has eyes for her, texts her all the time. That guy ends up in the friend zone, brothers. Because women don't chase after the guy who gives himself away. They chase the guy who's selfish with his time, the one they have to put in effort for, to make the moment worth it for him to be with them. That's why hypergamy exists. Women want the man who could have any woman, but chooses her. Not the simp who's always available and that no other woman wants.
Women.
When did we start calling bare minimum behavior green flags? They text me back. Isn't a green flag. That's baseline communication. Oh my God, they remembered something I said. Yeah, that shouldn't make your heart flutter. It should be expected. We have normalized such trash behavior that basic human decency feels like winning the lottery. Raise your fucking standards. You deserve someone where kindness and effort aren't occasional surprises. They're the default.
My message for you today is to heal so that you can see that attention is not love, attachment is not a connection, and the bare minimum is not effort. So let me break this down for you a little. Attention does not equal love. Just because someone texts back, watches your stories, and throws a like does not mean that they care about your heart. Real love shows up. It's action, consistency, and presence, not breadcrumbs. Now let's talk about attachment. That tight grip you feel that isn't always a connection. It's often fear. The fear of being alone, the fear of losing comfort, but a real connection, it feels like peace. It feels freeing, safe, and secure, not suffocating. And the bare minimum, friend, please, that is not effort. Stop clapping for the basics. Respect, honesty, and consistency are the standard. Effort is when someone invests in you, not when they just check off the easiest boxes. When you heal, you stop mistaking crumbs for a feast. You start expecting the full plate and realizing that you deserve that from the very start. Because healed eyes do not lie. They see the truth, and the truth always sets you free.
Women want the bears, and we want you to subscribe and help us hit 1,000 likes on this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion in the comments. It's important to us. All right then, let's get back to the video.
Heal so that you can see that attention is not love, attachment is not connection, and the bare minimum is not effort. Gotta say that again because it hits different when you've been through it. Attention is not love. Anybody can text you good morning. Anybody can check in when they're bored. That doesn't mean that they're choosing you. Attachment is not connection. Sometimes we're just used to somebody. We're used to their voice. We're used to their presence. We're used to the routine. But that doesn't mean that your souls ever really met each other. Bare minimum, that's not effort. That's not investment. That's not partnership. That's somebody doing just enough so you stay. When you heal, you start to see all this so clear. You stop chasing maybes. You stop begging adults to treat you right. And you stop confusing breadcrumbs for a full meal. Healing helps you raise your standards without even trying. It's like your spirit says, no, I've been through too much for that. You start choosing people who actually choose you back, people who show up, people who give peace, not problems, people who don't just want access to you, they want to pour into you. So do the healing for you, not for them, not to get them back. So you can finally see who's real, who's safe, and who was actually never even meant to stay.
Something I've learned in relationships is that people put in effort for you in the same measure that you put in for them. For example, you're a responsible man, you pay your bills, you're loving, you keep your home in order, you get things done. In other words, you handle your business. And yet the woman's always complaining about you. In that case, the problem isn't you. It's the partner you chose, because she's not giving back what you're offering. And I say this because in all this talk, all you hear is what they want, everything you have to do for them, but they offer nothing. When have you ever heard one of them talk about doing an act of service for you? All you hear are complaints and demands. There's a reason they're still single past 30, because they never learned to take care of a man, and that's why no man takes care of them.
Men will never give attention in any way, positive or negative, to women that they are not attracted to. This is why certain men will hold doors open for you while others slam it in your face. When men are attracted to women, they will give them attention. Positive, negative, it doesn't matter. As you know, any publicity is good publicity. And when it comes to men, any attention is good attention. It means they are listening, they are looking, and they are interested. Now, I did not say they'll act on it. I never said they'll act on it. But what I am saying is if a man is giving a woman negative attention and you're thinking that it is in fact that negative attention, that he doesn't like this behavior, this type of woman, hair color, body type, whatever, it is the absolute opposite of that. They are in fact attracted to it or in some way intrigued by it. Now, why am I telling you this? The reason I'm telling you this is if you're dating, use this to your advantage. If you have a man, use it as information, okay? If they mention a woman in any way, I do not care what the way is. As I said, negative counts, positive counts, body type counts, face, eyes, hair, whatever. Okay, if they mention her in any way, they're interested. Just something to keep in mind with your man, because I know a lot of women think these men mention certain things or how they hate their friend's girlfriend, whatever. She's a slut, she's this, she's that. That's not the case at all. At all. They're jealous, they're interested, period. Okay, it's just something for you to look out for and just be aware of. Any attention is good attention when it comes to a man, I promise you, and you will find this to always be true. Specifically, what is that? Specifically, if they've been in a relationship and then you're the new girl and they're saying how much they hate her, how the other girl did them dirty, whatever, it's because they can't stop thinking about her, okay? It's always going to be the case. They never hate her. They never hate that type. It's always that they like them. End of story.
Number 1. Never speak badly about a woman, not even your ex, no matter how bad she was. That just makes you look like a victim like a hurt guy, and it makes you look bad in front of other women. Number 2, it's not that men treat you bad. There are people with manners and people without. Opening the door, pulling out the chair, opening a bottle of wine. Those are just manners. They're not signs that a man truly loves you. Now here's a clear rule. If a woman doesn't treat you like the best thing that ever happened to her, switch women. Remember, a woman treats the man she truly likes like a king. If she's not doing that with you, she's not even doing the bare minimum.
My husband and my son snuck out while I was sleeping and moved out. I obviously have been talking about what I'm going through on here a little bit. Honestly, I haven't even really began to dive into what has happened, but this morning I woke up. A little bit after I woke up, I realized my son's car wasn't here. And a little backstory, my husband has been living in the house. He's been living in the basement. We have a completely finished basement that's kind of like an in-law suite. So he's been living down there. I don't bother him down there. I probably see him maybe 10 minutes a whole day. The only thing I kind of asked was if he's coming and going to let me know when he's leaving so that I know who's in and out of the house, which I feel like is kind of reasonable. Like, I don't know where he goes half the time. Anyway, I noticed my son's car wasn't here and neither was his, but his usually isn't here in the morning. My son's car is always here. He almost never leaves the house unless he has class and he's still on break. So I texted my husband and was like, hey, where's our son? I assume my husband was at pickleball and would text me when he was done, except my phone started ringing almost immediately and it was him. And he then informed me that he and my son, while I was sleeping this morning, snuck and moved out and didn't tell me. Now, do I expect my husband to tell me that he's moving out? Well, I kind of expect him to tell me. If he wants to move out, he can move out, but I literally said something to him earlier this week where I was like, I feel like there's something going on that you're not telling me. And he's like, no, nothing. Why couldn't you just tell me? Why'd you have to lie? He knows I hate lying. It's like the universe's joke. I hate lying so much and he's a pathological liar. I should have known. I was really hurt, actually, that my son clearly knew that this was happening and didn't say anything to me. Didn't say to his father, I feel uncomfortable being put in this situation. Maybe you should tell her the truth. And that he moved. Like, my son and my husband are close, but I don't know. I'm pretty hurt by it, actually. I'm really trying not to cry. Like, what kind of person does that? And like, I'm hurt by my son, but I can't really be mad at him because I know he was manipulated in the situation. I know that my husband probably presented it to him in a way where my son didn't realize he was being manipulated and felt like he had to make a choice. I'm sure my husband said, I'm moving out. Do you want to move out with me? Which then makes my son feel like he has to make that choice and make a decision instead of saying, I'm moving out. I'm just letting you know. Where then my son isn't put in that position to make a choice and can think about it and make a choice later, maybe have a conversation with me as well, instead of sneaking out while I was sleeping and not telling me. This is the kind of man that he is. This is exactly who he is. He is very sneaky. He lies about just about everything. It's just who he is. I had actually accepted that is who he is and just kind of ignored it and was just living with it for many, many years. But I'm still in shock. Like, I had a couple panic attacks. I've been crying. I've called my dad. Damn it. Like, when does it end? My whole life, my entire childhood was surviving abuse. My first marriage was living with somebody who wouldn't talk to me. And then the last 20 years have been me just trying to get through every day with somebody who clearly hates me. The hardest part is feeling a little betrayed by my kids. I don't want to be angry about it because I know that they've been manipulated, but it still hurts. And I just feel very alone.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Welcome to the wall. She said her son is 19 years old and already drives. That's not a child. That's a grown man who clearly sees what's going on at home. But look at the pattern. She says she went through abuse. She says it's her second marriage. She says the same thing happened in the first one as in the second. Two different men, and now her son is leaving her too. There's a pattern here. You're the toxic one. The problem here is clearly you. The men left while you were asleep, so you wouldn't wake up, so you wouldn't start yelling or cause a scene. When everyone leaves you, gives you the house, walks away with nothing, especially the man, it's because it's better to get out and keep your peace than to keep struggling with you. You need therapy because the problem here is you. But let's keep going. There's more to the story.
It's been about a little over 24 hours since I found out that my husband that I was separated from, that was living in the house, and my 19-year-old son moved out while I was sleeping and didn't tell me about it. It's been a rough 24 hours. I've done a lot of crying. I've had a splitting headache for almost the whole time. Last night I was getting chest pains. This morning I was losing giant clumps of hair. And I have all kinds of canker sores in my mouth because I think my body is freaking out from the stress. One thing I learned is behind every narcissist man is a mother who made him that way. My mother-in-law has been awful to me since the day she met me, which I kind of just was like, whatever, she's a mother-in-law. I didn't instigate things with her. I was always polite and kind, but that woman never like me, which is fine. You don't have to like me. Mothers that act that way about their sons when they get in relationships, they're the ones that you have to worry about the most, honestly. This woman works in some type of psychological field, like social service or something. So she works with people who deal with mental illness and things, I'm pretty sure. This woman actually funded the rental that my husband got so that I would not know about it in any way. She funded the most psychologically traumatizing thing I have experienced in my life so far. Initially, the first big affair that I found out about, that was very traumatizing. I actually have PTSD from it, but this has fully broken me. And I just don't understand the point anymore. Let me tell you, if my son did this to his family, I would not be like, hey, let me pay for that for you. I'd be like, you need to take responsibility. You need to take accountability. This is not how we treat people. Maybe I'm just built different, but I don't agree with teaching your kids that bad behavior is okay. If you get in a relationship with a man whose mother treats you terrible because she doesn't like you, and the man doesn't ever stand up for you, you need to get out of that relationship because one or both of them is going to destroy you in some way.
Stop it. Get some help.
In short, the mom is a psychologist, or at the very least, she knows the pattern, and she saw that you weren't all there mentally. I'm sure she told her son that. When she had to help him leave without causing any trouble, it's because she knows something's not right with you. You demand accountability, but no one owes you an explanation when you're the problem. They left while you were sleeping to avoid yelling, manipulation, or drama. The husband was already living in the basement like it was a separate apartment. He was avoiding you all day. You'd only cross paths for 10 minutes at most. That's not a normal separation. That's emotional survival. He was walking on eggshells in his own house. The 19-year-old son isn't some manipulated kid. He saw years of tension, disconnection, and negativity. He chose peace over staying in a toxic environment. When everyone, husband, son, mother-in-law, acts in coordination to get away from you, the common denominator is you. It's not a conspiracy. You're the toxic one in the relationship. The story continues. Let's see what's next.
It is day 3 after my husband that I was separated from, that was living in my house, and my 19-year-old son snuck and moved out while I was sleeping very, very early in the morning. Honestly, I have not been doing well. I'm sitting outside of urgent care right now waiting for a notification that it's my turn because honestly, I can barely talk without pain. My mouth has so many canker sores in it that I woke up with yesterday morning. I've been losing hair by the clumps for 2 days now. I'm having a lot of chest pain, and I'm sure it's stress induced, but because of the amount of stress and the symptoms, I should both get checked out, but also have it documented in case anything happens. If I can send any message to young women out there, please do not get married. I've been through 2 divorces. I was married for 10 years to my first husband, and we had my oldest daughter. I've been married so far 20 years to this husband. While my first husband wasn't abusive, the relationship just sucked because he didn't talk to me. So I felt alone all the time. I thought he was going to be such a great dad. When we were getting divorced, he didn't do a single thing for our daughter. In fact, he didn't even fight for her. The only thing he cared about was how little he could pay me. I lived in Vermont, and this was middle of winter. It's cold as fuck up there. He had our electricity turned off in February. February is the coldest month up there. And at the time, I didn't know that these things were illegal. Or maybe they weren't then. This was over 20 years ago, so maybe they weren't. I didn't know that I could take any legal recourse, but I learned through that divorce what is and isn't legal as time went on, because it was a long, nasty divorce. And I swore I'd never get married again. When you meet a narcissist that is really good at masking and really good at love bombing, you don't even see it. Honestly, I didn't see what the situation was that I was in until a couple years ago. And a couple people have commented saying, my son's an adult, he knows what he did. But I'm an adult. And I didn't even realize how much I was being manipulated and psychologically controlled and abused until a couple years ago. And that's when I started to put myself first and I stopped putting him first. It took me 18 years to see that I was in a situation where I was being manipulated. So I want to be upset with my son, and I am upset with my son, but I also know how good my husband is at manipulating people. I am upset. I'm very hurt, and I'll never be able to unknow that my son did that with him.
Your first marriage lasted 10 years. Now we're talking about a second one that lasted 20. You've had 2 long marriages where it's always the other person's fault, never yours. She's always lived with that eternal victim syndrome. Her first husband wasn't abusive. What he did was choose not to fight her in the divorce. He just wanted to get away from her. Now she complains about the man who married her for 20 years, who met her as a single mom, and now he's suddenly a manipulative narcissist. But he wasn't when he took you in with a daughter from another man, when he raised your daughter and had kids with you. That's a good man. Your son knows it. Everything here is on his side. I'm sure that young man saw what happened to his sister when her dad left her with their mom. He said, I'm not going to deal with that. And that's why he went with his father, because it's you they're trying to get away from. Let's keep going.
Women.
Women want the bears, and we want you to subscribe and help us hit 1,000 likes on this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion in the comments. It's important to us. All right then. Let's get back to the video.
I don't give a shit if my husband wants to move out. In fact, if I ever see his face again, it will absolutely be too soon. But he knows it will hurt me to involve my kids. And he did something similar with my daughter earlier. Parent alienation is illegal here, but they're adults. So it's not illegal in family law in the same way. They don't realize that he's manipulating them because he seems like such a good guy. He's very, very good at masking. He promised me he would never put me in any kind of financial situation. This morning, I realized he is going to, which isn't legal, but then you have to go through the process of fighting for it. And that's expensive. That's exhausting. That is very stressful, which is why I am here waiting to go into urgent care. God, if you can avoid getting married, don't get married. It has been the biggest mistake of my life. I have lost 20 years of my life because I trusted this man. The discouragement that I feel right now, I put up with so much, and that he has every right to just discard me. And I'm in this position where the only thing on my resume is my name and my education at 50. Please don't get married. And if you do, there's 2 things. Don't ever stay at home. You will regret it. How many women do you have to see on these apps saying that they had to start over from nothing because they stayed home? Don't do it. Secondly, don't go into a marriage without a prenup, one that protects you. Do not go into a marriage without a prenup that says, if you cheat, if you leave, these are the things that will happen. Because even though there are laws in place, the court can be manipulated too. That's what lawyers do. Lawyers literally are trained to manipulate a jury, a judge, and witnesses. That's what you're trained to do as a lawyer. The law can bend. A prenup is probably the best thing every person on the planet who's getting married could do, because these men are not held accountable. This country wants to push women back into the kitchen barefoot and pregnant, but men are allowed to do this. And we have no recourse. We're just forced into it because we can't get jobs. They won't let us get financial aid to go to school so we can get the jobs. They won't give us the jobs. 9 out of 10 people I see on this app talking about being laid off or fired are women. They're taking the jobs away from women. They want to force us to be wives and mothers, but they don't do anything to protect us in those situations. So if you are a fucking woman, you need to be fighting back right now as hard as you fucking can, because our daughters are the ones who are really going to pay the price for all of this. But Jesus Christ, don't get married. Let these fucking men be lonely. And yes, it is all men. For the person who keeps saying that in my comments, it's not all men. Yes, it is.
Her son is also included among those men, apparently. Then she wonders why he left. No one can come to me with the story that you're the victim when everyone walks away from you. Your son, your husband, your ex-husband. Even the daughter who stayed with you sides with your current husband. Ladies, you are the common factor among all of them, and they all agree on one thing: staying away from you. You're the toxic one here. And you're right about one thing. A prenuptial agreement, for both men and women, is the smart move. But you're only saying that now because you're the one who stands to lose. If someone had brought that up 20 years ago, you probably would have reacted like many women today, saying you'd never sign a prenup. Now look at how you unload all your hate toward men. Look at how you complain about not having a job when you had 20 years to get one. You were married for 10 years without working. It's clear you liked being taken care of. Then you go around telling women to leave their men when you had 2 chances to make a marriage work. And still, there's another video of you complaining. Let's take a look.
It's been 4 days since my husband that I was separated from but was living in the house and my 19-year-old son packed up and moved out very, very early in the morning while I was sleeping and didn't tell me they were doing that. Yesterday was very rough. I was very emotional. I was very sad. I felt very hurt by my son that he didn't talk to me. We do have a decent relationship. He is close to my husband, so I would have expected some kind of back and forth of living, but to not discuss it with me is very hurtful. We don't have a strained relationship, so I know some people are like, there's more to this story. Then it was like my dogs could sense my grief and how heavy it was, because I have 3 dogs, and of my 3 dogs, 2 of them became very, very ill in different ways. One dog refused 3 meals in a row, threw up all day that first day. I was so worried about him. Then my other dog, who is older, something happened and he could not put any weight on either of his back legs. He had to sit to pee outside. He had to sit to eat. He could not walk. And then he refused a meal, and he never refuses a meal. It all happened at once. I'm sitting there feeling like I lost my children because of this manipulative man. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my dogs too. So I was crying all day. I finally called my grandmother, who is not doing well, told her she had no idea any of this was happening. And I'm like, I don't want to cry about it. I can't stand crying. I know it stems from a childhood where I had to be the strong one of my siblings in a very abusive home, but I hate crying. Of course, the minute she picks up and says hello, I'm like, woo! Excuse my look, I just got out of the shower. I finally took a shower. I haven't done my skincare since Tuesday night. I can't imagine being a person who goes online and sees that somebody is grieving about something and leaves some kind of nasty comment. Like, that's what's wrong with the world right now. There's absolutely no reason to go on the internet and be mean to people that you see grieving, but people do it every day. People do it every minute. There's someone that's going to do it the minute I post this, I'm sure. To the people who are like, there's more to this story. First, fuck off. Keep your comments to yourself. Like, really. Although it gives me engagement, so go ahead. I don't care. I don't actually read all the comments because of people like that. Second of all, every relationship, there's fault on both sides. Every relationship. But I can tell you, I did not cheat on my husband multiple times. I did not do illegal things behind my husband's back. I did not gaslight him every time he tried to tell me his feelings. I didn't hide money from him. So maybe I wasn't always in the best mood. Maybe I wasn't the perfect wife every minute of 20 years, but I can tell you I didn't do things to him that would change his brain chemistry like he did to me. Anybody who has a negative comment to say, go ahead. It helps my engagement, but just know that I'm thinking, fuck off. Now I just look around my giant empty house. It's very lonely. It is very lonely. I have had some friends that, I've talked to and gotten some advice, realizing that some of the things that he's doing, I don't care what anybody thinks. No person deserves to go through something like this when you've dedicated your life to somebody. That's all I've got for today. I'm just so out of energy. Thanks for being here.
People say there's more to the story because she pushes all the blame outward and never talks about her own mistakes. You don't need infidelity to make life miserable. Constant negativity, complaints, and emotional manipulation are more than enough. I've learned that the ones who cry manipulator the loudest are usually the ones doing the manipulating. You say your son is manipulated, but what really hurts is that he chose his dad over you. He saw years of coldness, disconnection, and victimhood. You yourself admit, I wasn't perfect. If your daughter, who isn't even that man's biological child, is on his side, it's because you made that house hell for everyone. We all know misery loves company. Now you're alone in that big house, living with yourself, and you're miserable. That says a lot. Get ready for the divorce and enjoy your new reality. Maybe you should have been a better wife, especially when he was the one supporting you. Brothers, actions have consequences. And just like the wall, they don't forgive. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. When everyone walks away from the same person, is it still just bad luck, or is it a pattern? If an adult son chooses to go with his father, is it manipulation or a decision based on what he lived through at home? If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Your support means a lot to us and keeps us motivated to keep creating more content.